In a year that celebrates the 100th birthday of Nelson Mandela and the 100th or the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I'm faced with the realization that for all the work our great leaders and institutions have fought and struggled for, we're coming up hard against a machine that breeds laziness, apathy, and distracts a large percentage of us from engaging in civic duty. On top of this, our children are inheriting a planet that is in far worse shape than the one which was passed to you and me. I'm here, standing on this stage, living out a vision I first dreamt about 40 years ago. Now, I may have had a difficult time back then seeing your faces amongst the crowd, but as the years went by, your features, your shape, it all took form, lending support and adding strength to a foundation that was reaching high for the sky. Well, some people believe there's no order to how events unfold. Others believe that their lives are engaged in a cosmic dance, believing that everything is interconnected, that everything, while still in a state of act and react, is moving beautifully to a tuned vibration set throughout the universe. All of this, everything within these walls and everything outside of it, is the manifestation of a world we have created together. Every memory and every experience we string together act as channels to move us and our perceived reality in an expanse of consciousness. Whether you see your life as being way over here on the spectrum of total and absolute chaos, or you're over here flowing naturally with the energy around you, you made the decision to tune into this production as one of the guests in the crowd, as a navigator on YouTube, or as one of the messengers who is taken to the stage. Each one of us having a natural hand, chaotically creating the world we live in. The world my generation was born into was well on its way to becoming the polarized world we now see today. The year I was born, the world was in full swing, making historical discoveries and technological advancements daily. We were sending people into space, curing disease, and helping the average person live longer than ever before. However, the progress we had been making also coincided with more death and destruction than ever seen before. We're talking 2 world wars and the dropping of 2 atomic bombs, which initiated the Cold War, in turn spawning the Korean, the Vietnam, and Afghanistan wars, just to name a few. New deals were brokered. Think Kissinger, Nixon, and China, which helped build the megacorporations we now see today. Legitimate democracies were replaced by military dictatorships. Resources were siphoned away from those who arguably had rightful ownership to it into the hands of a corporatocracy. The killing of innocents, sometimes mass genocide, was a calculated consequence to our moving forward. And those who stood up to become champions for social justice were oftentimes ruthlessly eliminated or imprisoned for long periods of time. That vision I had 40 years ago, my reality as a 5-year-old boy, can best be described as an intense feeling that was packed ever so tightly deep inside of me. That feeling gave rise to a desire to help change the world we live in. And it has fueled me every single step of the way, through thick and thin, both good times and bad, always with a focus on this moment right now. Truth be told, the future of this planet and all whom live upon it is filled to the rim with uncertainty. Whether we're talking global warming, job scarcity, the overfishing of our oceans, deforestation, impending cosmic disaster, or fighting to stop and build pipelines, there exists more than enough major issues of concern that will spike the adrenals and stress the sympathetic nervous system. If we want to tackle the big issues that are facing us today, we first must deal with the number one issue confronting us. And that is the disconnect mainstream society has with those who are meant to represent them. If we desire to function as a healthy global society, we must receive nurturing care, not just from our parents, but from our political leaders as well, and entrusted with the same responsibilities that every emerging adult should be given. You know, my peers are well educated, and they come from all walks of life. They're idealists, realists, pessimists, and opportunists, who all share the same notion that something needs to be done about the operating system we're now using. But few can fathom just how to change the direction we're currently traveling in. I know, sometimes it seems as if we're just passengers on a ship heading out into uncharted waters. We all know that things need to change, but we continue on with the same daily routine, believing the influence we can affect today will make little to no difference in the bigger picture of tomorrow. As my grade 5 teacher used to say, rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Thanks, Mr. P. So how can we issue control and make the right changes so we are no longer the passenger? Rather, we are the hands at the wheel, with the vision to clearly recognize the signs that are passing us by. Global education reform, reforms for privacy rights, tax reforms, energy reforms, and voting reforms. If we really want a better world, if we want to help lift up the next generation, I can't think of a better place to start than giving 16-year-olds the right to vote. Think about it. Through social media, the I generation has witnessed exponential growth in its capacity to connect with the issues that concern them the most. Young people, including my 15 and 17-year-old boys, know full well what is going on in the world. They're aware of the challenges we're facing today, and they know that things will likely worsen by the time they're given the right to cast their first ballot. We have the Parkland teens who've been championing the cause for gun control. We have the student protests in Quebec, youth participation in the Idle No More movement. This is proof that our young citizens are talking about the important issues and engaging in civil protests. So why is it we keep them from expressing these values at the voting station? I believe if we give them the chance, they can help steer us in the right direction, steering us toward a better society that will more accurately reflect the one they ultimately stand to inherit. Lowering the voting age will give this generation the opportunity to influence the society they're already engaged with. They have the energy and the means to connect in a way that can truly revolutionize the democratic process. And why wouldn't they? For it is they who have the most to gain and the most to lose. By lowering the voting age, we'd be strengthening the voice of our young and sending them a clear message that their voices actually count. By the time many people have turned 18 years of age, they've already left the house. They're in college. They've taken on new duties and responsibilities. For many of them, registering to vote gets shuffled to the side and lost in the list of important things to do. Engaging them while they're still in high school will serve to foster a healthy mindfulness with respect to civil education, and it will better prepare them for the larger world they stand to inherit. This is not some radical new idea, folks. Brazil, Argentina, Austria, and Scotland are just 4 of the countries who have already successfully lowered the voting age to 16. Why would we think that 16-year-olds here in North America can't handle this? We know that they have the physical capacity and the cognitive function to drive a car, to get a job and pay taxes, to drop out of school, to get married, heck, to even get pregnant and raise a child. We're not looking to limit these young people from partaking in any of these adult life activities. We should be looking at every way that strengthens the line that directly connects them to the democratic system which governs them. Look, I realize there are those of you who'd be skeptical, and some may even downright object. So let's acknowledge the argument against. Some people will say that 16 and 17-year-olds simply don't have enough life experience to cast a vote. I'd like to point out that in the 2016 presidential election, there wasn't one 16-year-old who voted for Donald Trump, but there were plenty of 30-year-olds who did. Please, I will be the first to admit that lowering the voting age isn't going to magically make everything all better, for there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Changing the school curriculum is a must, which includes a revival of civic education. The health of our democracy perhaps better said, the survival of our democracy, demands that we work to preserve our core values and defend against single-minded education. I can hear my mother's voice now. Don't teach your child what to think. Teach them how to think. Ladies and gentlemen, in the 2016 presidential election, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million votes, and it still wasn't enough. Could you imagine what would happen the next time around if 12 million 16 to 17-year-old voters finally had a voice? Imagine. We need to stand strong and signal to our young that we care about them, that we trust them, that we need them to help us build a better tomorrow. It's time we equip the next generation with the right tools that's going to better prepare them to solve the problems we're all facing in the 21st century. If you agree with me, and if you believe in them, then I call on us all to demand this right be extended to them immediately. And to all of you 16 and 17-year-olds out there, waiting for your moment to lead, I want you to know, we believe in you, and we need you now more than ever. I urge you, Snapchat all of your friends and share this talk with the elected officials who represent you across North America. Post this to their Instagram and Facebook pages. Tag them on Twitter and YouTube, telling them loudly, I am ready and I want to vote. Challenge them to say no to the millions of new voters who are tired of waiting for the so-called adults out there to get it right. Time is running out. It's time for change. It's time more teens got the vote. Thank you. Thank you.